It's Melania.
Yo, it's somebody next to him.
Yeah. Those Russians are tricky, man. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, Jesus.
And hot.
Because you'd be in jail.
The QAnon movement appears to be gaining a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much, which I appreciate. But I don't know much about the movement. I've heard these are people that love our country.
Well, at the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, you know, if I can help save the world.
I'm the highest version of myself. I know I am that I am.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Godspeed Podcast. I am your host, Joe Guy.
And I am Dan's Eating Everything.
Today is part 2 of our episode that we started. Today is part 2 of our 17 episode that we started last week, and we're gonna finish it up, so we'll just get right back on into it. We left off, Trump was visiting all the countries and making them hand over power to him, and the last video we watched was that Canadian dude talking about how shit's happening, we don't see it.
Can you hear that?
Very loudly. I have a mute button on my editing software, so that'll do.
I'll stop. I'll stop. Fine.
So, do you know the law where if you do you know the law where if you're a wartime president, all elections and all that stop?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So during 2020, during the schmamdemic, Trump announced he was a wartime president. So the election that followed that was not a real election. It was null and void. All elections should have ceased. But here's a video of Trump declaring he's a wartime president and all
I'm a wartime president. This is a war. This is a war. Different kind of a war than we've ever had.
Today, no war has been declared. And however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion.
Today, the Department of Defense has started the process of formalizing what we have long known, the fundamental role of U.S. Special Operations in defense and foreign policy by elevating Special Operations forces to a level on par with military departments. We follow the vision of President John F. Kennedy, who predicted the rise of special operations nearly 60 years ago. He foresaw, quote, another type of war, new in its intensity, ancient in its origin, that would require a whole new kind of strategy, a wholly different kind of force, forces which are too unconventional to be called conventional forces, which are growing in number and importance and significance. The global demands for Special Operations Forces, then and now, has confirmed President Kennedy's foresight. And now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of Special Operations Forces.
This persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country.
In the military, I started off my career as an air cavalry officer, flying helicopters, counter-reconnaissance, reconnaissance. Moved later into information warfare as an information operations officer, running psychological operations, computer network operations, deception, operation security, and electronic warfare, special electronic warfare. And I would tell you, as an unconventional warfare information operations, information warfare specialist, the American populace is facing an unconventional warfare scenario.
President Trump is the commander-in-chief. It's undoubtedly the case. And he has pulled together all the military under the US Space Force. All members of the US Space Force are called guardians, no matter if you're a chief, master sergeant, or a cadet, or a soldier, an officer. They are called guardians for a reason.
We have over 200 generals and admirals supporting us now. They ought to switch over to paper ballots. It's all watermarked now. It's really incredible stuff what you can do with paper. Paper is actually high tech.
Watermark ballots in over 12 states have been part of a huge Trump and military white hat sting operation. And Biden crime family and ballot fraud co-conspirators, elected officials, bureaucrats, social media censorship mongers, fake stream media reporters, etc., are being arrested and detained for ballot fraud right now and over coming days, and will be living in barges off Gitmo to face military tribunals for sedition.
Please allow me to say how proud I am of the almost 25,000 National Guardsmen who have come in from all 50 states and territories to help support the Secret Service and the police departments with a peaceful transition of military power.
In my first term, I disrupted all of it. Oh, did I disrupt? That was called major disruption. And in my second term, which we're sort of having now, but I don't want the results. Under the normal rules, I'll be out in 2024.
We are now in the phase, in my view, where the War Generals Coalition, this is a coalition of 200 active duty generals are at work, 34 nations. I don't know the list. I just know it's happening. He has put the US into war, active war. The US, United States codes of court martial are in force. Military justice is in force. The Law of War Manual 2015, revised in July 23, is in force, and it is global. And it is a coalition of 34 nations that are now cooperating to bring down the cabal.
We're essentially fighting the entire globalist elite power structure that wants to control the world.
We're at war. In a true sense, we're at war. And we're fighting an invisible enemy.
To make it simpler for you to understand, these are military tribunal procedures, and you need to know that in war, which America is, it has mobilized 1 million National Guard soldiers in active duty. The codes of court-martial are clear. A court-martial tribunal can be declared behind a tank, behind a barn, on a highway cafe, in a city, anywhere in the world, in the battlefield, by the commanders themselves, and executed according to the court-martial articles, depending on the crime that has been committed: high treason, genocide, war crimes, and also lesser, would say, severe infractions of the law of war.
In light of the countless sacrifices made by hundreds of thousands of American service members and our enormous progress over nearly 2 decades, we are now bringing these conflicts to their successful and responsible conclusion under the bold leadership of President Trump. Should any malign actors underestimate our resolve or attempt to undermine our efforts, we will not hesitate to restore deterrence and defeat any and all threats.
It's happening.
Okay.
So so seeing is believing is they just don't spread all this shit to everybody. Like, you probably never seen any of those fucking interviews, right? Even the newscasts where people are talking, like Christopher Miller when he's talking, you've never seen that.
Nope.
Like, they're telling us everything that's happening, but we don't see it because the Mockingbird media is Operation Mockingbird, where they control all the media, and have them tell us what they want us to believe. It's a bunch of crap.
Such crap.
But these are generals and shit telling you all this. You know what I mean? It's not just, YouTube guy that you hate.
Right. Right.
So
it's all about context too, though. Like, you need one of these generals to go on. I know you're gonna hate this, but to go on Joe Rogan or some long form interview and really detail out, or explain out the details. Maybe not Joe Rogan, but you know what I mean. I need
Also,
that long form interview with details.
Did you see the military guy that was on the news in that last clip say, "We're ready to we're ready for a transition to peaceful power over to the military."
Yeah.
And that was during Joe Biden's inauguration. Meaning Trump wasn't transitioning power to Joe Biden. He was transitioning power to the military because he's a wartime president. And all elections get suspended. So it's crazy shit, dude. They tell us everything. They really do. Here's one of the things Trump also did while he was in power.
To help the victims. Now, here's some things that President Trump's administration has done to combat human trafficking that rarely gets covered by the mainstream media, that all of you can go on whitehouse.gov and look up. President Trump has signed 9 bills into law addressing human trafficking. President Trump has awarded over $35 million in grants that goes to victims of human trafficking. Now, President Trump issued an executive order in 2017 that seized the assets of people involved in human rights abuses, and has also passed executive orders that would seize money from abusers and allocate that money to the victims.
So all of these government officials and Hollywood actors that are getting arrested for human abuse that supposedly are going to Guantanamo Bay, all of that money and their property and all that shit is taken away from them. And they have, so have you, I'll play this. This is another clip that I have, but it's literally like 10 seconds. But it goes with what she was just talking about.
Issued executive orders keeping open Guantanamo Bay. They wanted to close it. I want to keep it open and use it for the rest.
And use it for her.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Guantanamo Bay when Obama was president, up on the top there.
Right.
And on the bottom is Trump as president. That red square is the building on the top, and now it's on the bottom. That's how big Guantanamo Bay is now when Trump became president. Why would he make it that much bigger if he wasn't filling it up with government officials, Hollywood actors, CEOs of huge corporations that make Doritos and poison you? I'm asking.
I don't know. You tell me.
Exactly. He wouldn't. Because that's what's happening. They're putting all these people in these buildings. They're building more courthouses. They're building more jails. They're building all this crazy shit for Tom Hanks and his goons.
Build it and they shall come.
Exactly. So Hillary Clinton did a video. She recorded a video of her torturing a little girl.
No.
Yeah, it's called Frazzle Drip. It was actually on the internet and years ago. I haven't seen the video. I wouldn't watch it if I... Huh?
Tell me you have it.
No, fuck no. But it was on the dark web and they scrubbed it off the internet. But like this isn't actual new. This is actual, like, I think it's Snopes or some shit like that, where they're an extreme snuff film featuring Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin raping and mutilating a prepubescent girl is circulating on the dark web, according to sources familiar with the material. And they basically they they say it's a deep fake video now. It's not really her. It's AI. But they're basically admitting that the video is out there right here. And there's a news broadcast that Sidney Powell was in saying that there was 10 detectives that saw this laptop and saw the contents of it. Anthony Weiner was a senator. He got arrested for sending pictures to a 15-year-old girl, nude pictures to a 15-year-old girl. His wife is Huma Abedin, who's on the video with Hillary Clinton. The file on his laptop when it was seized was called life insurance, and that's where that video was, inside that folder. The 10 detectives that saw this, the 10 NYPD officers that saw this, 8 of them died committing suicide. And now they're admitting it's real, saying that it's just a deep fake video. So if it was a fake video and wasn't real, then this news story wouldn't even have been out. But they need to tell you it's a deep fake because AI has gotten so good these days. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty fucking convenient, wouldn't you say?
I think all the Hillary's bodies are just stacking up.
Yeah. We're going to get into more of her body count on another episode where we go into actual like human trafficking and the celebrity gross shit. But this, I'm trying to just separate it a little bit. You know what I mean? But so also posted, 17 posted about Alice in Wonderland and Hillary in Saudi Arabia. Okay. This was on November 17th of 2017.
17.
Yeah. Oh, dude, there's tons of 17s everywhere, too. Now, emails, this was so super blurry. This is emails with Hillary Clinton being called Alice by somebody that's signature is Hatter. So, and this email was leaked on August 31st, 2018. So, posted this a year earlier, calling Hillary Alice in Saudi Arabia Wonderland. So, there's just a lot of fucking coincidences and shit, you know what I mean? That he should have never known, you know?
Yeah, but what does all this mean? Like, what is the point of that?
That's just a proof showing that they have insider info on Hillary's nickname, Bloody Wonderland being Saudi Arabia, like just their human rights violations that are going on all over the world.
Right.
There's also this proof from everybody's favorite island. So he posted this in November 11th, 2017. This is like his 133rd post, which he started posting at the end of October in 2017. So he has 133 posts within 13 days. Epstein Island, what is a temple? What occurs in a temple worship? So he's telling you about Epstein Island, and Epstein didn't get arrested till 2019. So they know shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're showing you all this crazy shit that's going on. Go ahead.
What was that? Was it? I forget his name, but big time conspiracy theorist guy, Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Yeah, he's been talking about Epstein Island for, I mean, he was talking about it in like 2015, telling people about it. Nobody wanted to listen.
Yeah. I don't know about him.
I'm just telling you.
I think he's put there to make conspiracy theorists look crazy.
Here's the thing: most of the things he comes out and talks about end up being true. Like the guy's batting, or he's shooting 95% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Okay. So
we're gonna go into a thing that We're gonna go into a thing in one of these episodes that he just got in trouble for, and which is a big reason why I don't trust him. Because I think he was made to do that, so nobody will talk about that. You know, Randy Shook.
Yeah.
Randy Shook Propaganda School. 17 talking about adrenochrome, and there's a thing with a soccer ball where Russia, where Putin hands Trump the soccer ball and says the ball is in your court now. But adrenochrome, that's the what do you call it? Chemical formula for adrenochrome. And Q posting about that. There's the gate where I can't say that, it's going to get flagged. I'll have to bleep that. Where they talk about Gate and all that crazy celebrities. You know what Gate is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got to show you something after this episode.
Okay.
You'll like it.
Okay. Okay. And then you got, stop this. And then this guy, so during 2019 and 2020, I don't know if you know about all the CEOs stepping down from their corporations and shit.
Yeah, everybody was left and right.
Yeah. Here's a former lawyer and FBI agent or some shit talking about it.
It's almost like a legal trick that goes on. I've been an attorney for a long time, and I see this kind of thing, and also as an FBI agent, I've seen this kind of thing. When you have a CEO that is in charge of a company, if he gets indicted one day while he's still with the company, it's a world of difference.
Yep.
If he gets indicted the moment one day after he steps out of the company.
Mm-hmm.
It's a world of difference because it gives the indictment will give access. If he's still in the company, the indictment will give access to all the company's records into that criminal investigation. And it'll give access to everything that's gone on in that company, you see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and all that shit was going wild in 2020. And also talks about how there's thousands of indictments, sealed indictments, that aren't released to the public yet. So that's why all these CEOs are stepping down and shit, because they know the indictment is coming. And it could have already happened. We just don't know about it yet. You feel me, dog?
Very interesting.
I know.
What else you got?
So a lot of posts, he'll say like the same kind of shit as Trump, and it's odd because Trump will say it like the same day that Q will post it. Trump will say it in like an interview or something the same day.
These people are sick. These people are sick. These people are sick. These people are sick. They're sick. These people are sick. I'm telling you, they're sick. These people are sick. These people are sick. There's something wrong with them. These people are sick. They're sick.
That's just a little. I'm basically showing you proofs that Trump is involved with Q.
Or at least he likes his stuff.
Yeah, he's at least a fan of the blog at very minimum. You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
And then here's Trump in his speeches saying 17. And there's way more video of this, I guess. This is just a short clip of how many times he says 17.
I want to know really who are the 17%? Who are they? Who the hell are the 17%? Anybody in here from the 17%? Don't raise your hand. It may be dangerous. 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17. 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17. So I think I might have been in Washington 17 times in my life. 17, 17, and 17, 17, 17, 17. 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17.
Why is he saying 17 so much? I wish that dude's music wasn't so fucking loud.
17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17.
He just. Oh, and also there's a picture of. I didn't add it because it could be the year that they gave him the jerseys. There's pictures of presidents getting jerseys from college football teams and NFL teams with the number of the like. So Obama would have got got 44, Bush would get 43, you know what I mean? Trump's were 17. The number on the jersey was 17.
Plus me, 17,
Yeah.
17, 17.
So, but again, it could have been the year 2017 is why he got them. So I didn't add that in, but that's just another fucking coincidence, I guess.
17, 17, 17, 17.
Here's a picture of
17
Trump
years.
or of posting 17. I just gonna bleep it instead of saying 17. Here's a image of posting a picture, a blurry picture of Trump's eyes behind like a chair or something like that.
Excuse me.
And then here's an image, the Twitter White House image of the same exact thing pretty much. And then Trump tweeted a video, and at the 17-second mark at 7:17 p.m., he tweeted that video, and at that time of the video is this image. And posted it before both of them. A minute before both of them. So
yeah.
He's in Trump's White House. He's one of, you know what I mean?
That's weird.
It's just facts, bruh. And then you got this one where posted on November 6th, 2017 at 5:07 p.m. And he ended his post with 3 plus signs at the bottom. Trump then posted at 5:15 on the same day and ended his tweet with 3 plus signs. This seems like little shit, but all of it adding up,
right,
it's kind of crazy. Then posted about on January 13th, he posted, "Do you trust the chain of command? Have faith, we are in control." Okay. The U.S. Department of Defense posted a trailer video for like a documentary on the National Geographic channel called Chain of Command. And they posted the trailer, and during the trailer, they have a fucking Q mug. All right, and then here's a video of after Trump went to, or after right before he went to South Korea, or North Korea. What the fuck do you keep saying South Korea?
You want to buy a Kia?
I do not want to buy a Kia. But here's a video.
When President Trump first began negotiating with Chairman Kim Jong-un, even prior to their first summit in Singapore, the president was able to secure the safe return of a number of American hostages from North Korea. In the very early morning hours of May 10th, 2018, the hostages arrived back in the US, and President Trump was there to greet them at Andrews Air Force Base, just outside Washington, D.C. Here we see a photo taken by then Press Secretary Sarah Sanders of the president sat in the Marine One helicopter, patiently awaiting the arrival of the hostages. And through the window of the helicopter, we see one of 2 fire trucks holding up the American flag. And we can't quite make it out through Sarah's low-resolution cell phone photo, but if we take a closer inspection of this fire truck, we see that it's labelled Q-74. Now, if we turn to the key drops from around this time, we see that following a trip code update 6 days earlier on May 4th, post numbers began counting up from 0. Here we see post numbers 1 and 2, and then it jumped to post number 62, and then over the next several days counted up slowly before reaching post number 74 on that evening of May 10th. Post 75 that same evening read Castle Lock and included a picture of an American flag with the file name freedom.png. A few days later, it posted saying to image search for fire truck /engine and asked, letter common in front of number, post 74, coincidence? So you're probably wondering, if this wasn't a coincidence, how did the Q team organize this? Did they mark the fire truck Q-74 just for this occasion? Well, actually it seems that the fire department at Andrews Air Force Base includes the Rescue 74 squad, and their fleet of vehicles includes a Quint, which is a fire truck with a quintuple combination pumper. So a Quint fire truck, operated by the Rescue 74 squad, is known as a Q-74. And since Andrews Air Force Base is where the president and his team travel to frequently to transfer from the Marine One helicopter to Air Force One, I'd imagine that either the president or a member of the Q team might have become aware of this Q-74 engine and then devised a way for Trump to be photographed with it.
So the team made it. They actually went through a bunch of shit to get that fire truck to hold the flag up, while the Q post counted up to 74 that night, and they coordinated it. You know what I mean? Like, days before the trip update started at 1, 6 days before, and went to 74 for that night, and Trump is getting a picture taken in front of a Q-74. What? I want to know what you think.
I'm skeptical.
Of what?
Yeah, it's a lot. It feels like a reach or a stretch, or I don't know. It doesn't feel natural. It feels like a stretch.
No, but so 6 days later, they started back at 1 and started posting again, and the numbers were going up to 74. The night that he posted 74 was the night Trump was in front of a fire truck that said Q74. Like, they did it as a proof for us to know that Trump is with the team. Without Trump can't say he's with the team, because it's a military intelligence that's giving us all this fucking shit that we're not supposed to get.
Right.
So Trump can't come out and say that, hey guys, I'm with, you know what I mean?
Right. That'll feel like or seem like he's the one that's part of a cabal
causing the trouble. Yes, exactly. Like, he denies it, but they want him so badly to say that, to he's disavow it. They want him to disavow it or agree that he's part of it.
Right.
So badly. It's fucking funny. Here's another one. So Trump is tweeting and he says scot-free. Who has the money off? His wife and his father-in-law got off scot-free, but instead of saying scot-free like you're supposed to, he said it like it's a name, and people like actually made fun of him for the mess up, for the typo. But who uses scot-free? It's a production company that made a movie called White Squall. White Squall, in the movie, they talk about the storm, the calm before the storm, and they also say, where we go one, we go all, multiple times in the movie. Q's most common phrase is, where we go one, we go all. So Trump is actually referencing a production company that, from a movie that talks about where we go one, we go all. And Scott Free isn't a big production company either. So that's a little one. That's not as... It's just weird his typo is around the same shit.
It's odd to me that somebody has time to figure out all these little coincidences and make them all work together. It's very weird.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't make any sense unless they're trying to show us comms. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So did a trip code update. The trip code is so you know it's him, basically. So every time there's a trip code update, he'll update the board and say, I have a new trip code. This is it. Well, his new trip code on August 6th was an exclamation point right before a capital A. Trump had a typo the same day and had an A right next to an exclamation point the same day. It all goes together, man. It's all going together. Then one of the Anons asked if Trump would say tip top in a speech. So he said maybe Q can work the phrase tip top into the State of the Union as a shout out to the board. Okay.
Okay.
Why are you laughing?
Because it's like, I don't know, man. It's so weird. It's just weird.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I agree with that. And here's Trump on his Easter speech.
Also, I want to thank the White House Historical Association and all of the people that worked so hard with Melania, with everybody to keep this incredible house or building or whatever you want to call it, because there really is no name for it. It is special. And we keep it in tip-top shape. We call it sometimes tippy-top shape. And it's a great, great place.
And actually says, did you see it? Or no, he doesn't say, did you see it? He says, He
It's
says,
so weird, man.
it was requested. Did you listen today? It's so weird. I know. I agree with you there. All right, and here's the last video I got for you, and then I'll let you go to bed. So they're basically, this video is going through the coincidences when Trump and post together, and how it's like seconds apart and shit, and how they like say similar things. You see the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Posts on 8chan and related tweets by the president, which are posted just a few moments later. We are then able to analyze the timestamps of his post and the president's tweets to calculate the difference or delta between them. So in post 310, you asked what has been said about the US military. Then in a tweet by the president just a few moments later, he said, "We love our US military." Then posted again a short while later, encouraging Anons to analyze the timestamps of these two posts regarding the US military. And by doing so, we can calculate a difference or delta between these posts that was 3 minutes. Then asked, how many clues must we provide? So with both of these posts mentioning the US military, we see the clear continuity in what both Q and President Trump were posting about. And with the early examples of deltas, this was done to help Anons identify the connection between their posts. Here we have another early example of a delta, in which Q and the President both posted to acknowledge festive holidays within a few moments of one another. We can see from the timestamps that this was a 10-minute delta. We also see that prior to this delta, it had been several hours since either Q or the President had posted. And this is quite often the case, as these deltas seem to be planned in advance, so that prior to one of these proofs, the President will take some time away from Twitter, and this means that the delta isn't then easily dismissed as a coincidence that came amongst a flurry of his tweets. And for similar reasons, the deltas always occur during office hours, or later in the evening, when Q and the President are physically together in the same location, and there are never deltas between the early morning hours of 4 a.m. to 10 a.m., when President Trump does lots of his typical quickfire tweeting from his private quarters within the White House. Here we see a 7-minute delta, this time word for word on Father's Day. In this next example, Q encouraged Anons to search crumbs for number 2, and asked who is number 2. If we follow those instructions, we find this post from earlier that month, in which Q referred to number 2 as being number 2 in the FBI, and the FBI deputy director at this time was Andrew McCabe. The drop also says no deals, and this perhaps implying that McCabe is one of those heavily implicated in the FBI's misconduct relating to the FISA warrant on Trump, and that McCabe isn't being given the opportunity to make a deal with the White Hats. Then just a few moments later, the president began tweeting about McCabe, and if we analyse the timestamps, we see that this was a 5-minute delta. The president then continued tweeting about McCabe and the FBI, and we see both of these tweets were also preceded by Q posts, and if we analyse the timestamps, we see these are both 0 deltas, meaning that it was less than 1 minute between Q's post and the next tweet by the president. And it's also worth noting that the president hadn't tweeted for over 22 hours prior to these 3 tweets, so I'm sure you'll agree that, given both the timing as well as the McCabe continuity, that this is quite a coincidence. At this stage, Q is still training Anons to become familiar with this concept of deltas, so later that day Q posted to encourage Anons to create a graphic showing Q's post and the president's tweet side by side, pointing out that timestamps are important and that these posts will serve as a marker in the future. Once Anons had become familiar with this concept of deltas and knew to look out for Q drops posted just prior to POTUS tweets, it was no longer necessary for Q and the president to have continuity of subject with their delta posts, and instead they now focus their efforts on posting with as small a delta as possible. So here we see an example of the president tweeting about storms, and there was a post in that same minute. After another 0 delta, and created a graphic to illustrate it, shared the graphic saying it was just another day at the office. Here we have an example where the delta was just 9 seconds. And here we have another example of deltas with 2 consecutive tweets by the president, a 4-minute and a 0 delta. But the most notable example occurred on February 17th, 2019, yes, the 17th day of the month, and on that day there were 3 0 deltas within the same afternoon. So the day started, as most do, with the president going on an early morning tweet storm. Here are 5 tweets he posted between 7 a.m. and 7:52. Then later that afternoon, he shared 2 maps, separated into 2 individual posts, but published within a few seconds of one another. And around the same time, the president tweeted clips from his press conference a few days earlier, and separated the clips into 2 individual tweets.
What do you think so far?
So 17 always goes first, it seems like.
Yeah, well, because if he goes after the president, people can be like, well, it hasn't. He just he's tweeting as soon as the president does. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if he always goes first,
right,
it's way more likely that it's coordinated. You know what I mean?
It's Melania.
It's somebody next to him.
Yeah.
And if we analyze the timestamps, we see these were both 0 deltas, and all 4 posts were published within less than 60 seconds.
Those Russians.
And again, keep in mind that
tricky,
prior to this,
That's
the
all I'm
president
saying.
hadn't tweeted for over 5.5 hours.
He said those Russians are tricky.
Later that afternoon, and the president both posted again, and by analysing the timestamps, we see this was another 0 delta. He then posted to ask, 3 today? What are the odds of that? As you might imagine, there are a few statisticians within the autist community, so a few anons got to work answering this question. Firstly, this anon used the Poisson distribution formula to determine a 99.998% probability that these 3 0 deltas were a coordinated occurrence, and another used binomial distribution to determine the odds of 3 0 deltas occurring by random chance are 1 in 82,483. This one also points out how Q understood that based on binomial distribution, the individual 0 delta posts over time were insufficiently convincing, but by triggering 3 within a 24-hour period, is created an event that determines conclusively that Q must be coordinated.
Yeah, so that's like, it's pretty obvious that it's
Melania. Yeah, it's Melania.
Yeah, dude, it could be. It could be him. It could be her. It could be.
Could be. It is.
All right. See her on her phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got. There's way more shit that goes into it. There's so much involved with it. We'll go into more of the Hollywood corruption and human rights abuse and all that crazy shit.
That's what I want to get in. So I feel like you've
got used to the boring part.
No, I feel it. Well, not that, but I feel like you've kind of driven the point home where clearly there's some close connection to the two.
Yeah, and that's what I have to do because a lot of people are like, it's just some idiot on a board. It has nothing to do with Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. When you told me you wanted to do a 17 episode, I'm gonna be honest. I was a little skeptical. And a little. No, not that it was a cult, but I thought I was gonna be very bored. Honestly, by it because I never really looked into it. I thought it was very, the stigma, goofy, kind of weird. But this so far has me interested. You've piqued my interest.
Nice, awesome.
You've piqued my interest.
I like it.
Oh, that was yours.
Yeah, that was mine that time. All right, bud. Well, like I said, we'll do more episodes and we'll get into the crazier shit.
All right, man. Cool.
But, yeah.
Well,
so I heard you're gonna spearhead an episode next week, right? About bang bang pow pow.
Yeah. I have some PTO coming up, and I will really dial in this episode I have coming up.
All right.
Not
next week.
I have something planned. Well, by the time these come out, it'll be next week.
Okay, dope.
You see what I'm saying? Okay.
I'll add my stuff too to it.
Okay.
I won't go crazy.
Okay.
I won't go crazy. Don't get us booted.
Don't get us banned.
We just hit 300 subscribers, so I don't want to get kicked off right away.
We are climbing the ladder, my good friend.
We are.
Cool.
We're gonna blow
up
soon.
Well, on that note,
all right, homie.
We're gonna Godspeed.
Godspeed.
Love you, bro.
Love you.
You've reached the offices of the Godspeed podcast. We are currently closed. Please leave your information and someone will return your call within 24 business days. Thank you.
What do you call a lie that's told repeatedly with great passion? You call it a lie. A lie is a lie. It doesn't change no matter how dramatic the music, no matter how often it's said, no matter how many people say it. A lie is a lie. This is scary as hell. Want us to believe there's a deep state running everything. That is a paranoid delusion. It's a hoax. It's the worst conspiracy theory out there. There is no deep state, morons. Grow the hell up.